If you own real estate in Alexandria, then this February Market Insight is just for you. I'm Melvin Yates, your neighborhood real estate broker with EXIT Flagship Realty. On this month's Real Estate Market Insight, we bring you the real estate facts. I'm going to share the 5 things you need to know about your neighborhood that are affecting your home's value this month. Plus, I've got the county and national data if you want the inside scoop on where things are headed. I really want to get to 10,000 subscribers this year, so please don't forget to like and subscribe so I can continue bringing you the latest and most accurate real estate data specific to your neighborhood. My office has over 160 awesome realtors, serving clients like you in DC, Maryland, and Virginia, so we can definitely help you put a real estate game plan together. Now for the numbers. Last month, the average sales price in Alexandria was $649,500. This is a 5.7% increase over the last 12 months and a 7.8% increase over the last 30 days. The average time it took to find a buyer in Alexandria was 29 days last month. Over last month, we had 246 homes come to market for sale. However, we still only have about 2 weeks of total inventory in all of Alexandria, which means that there's greater demand than there is supply. Now, I want my buyers out there to stay encouraged and get with a competent real estate professional, preferably one in my office, and we'll help you get the home you want. For my sellers, strongly consider putting a game plan together right now so that you can capitalize at the right time. Don't wait until you're ready to sell to start your planning. I want everyone to pay attention to the market. There were 240 home sellers who accepted a buyer's offer during the month. That represented 98% of the 246 new listings that even came on the market for sale. In all of Alexandria, there were 188 homes and condos that ultimately did sell last month. Now that's up 23% over the prior month and down 11.3% over last year this time. As the data shows, buyers are craving for more homes for sale right here in Alexandria. My agents have several highly qualified buyers who want to buy right here and right now in your neighborhood, and they're willing to pay top dollar, I guarantee it. Therefore, if you're thinking about moving up, down, or away, let us help you put a real estate game plan together. Next, I'll share the county and national data report. But please make sure you like and subscribe before you go and help me reach my goal. Feel free to use the link to get an estimated value from our website or just text me an address and I'll shoot over a free market analysis. As always, you can text, call, or email me anytime. Thank you for trusting me as your source for accurate, local real estate information, and I'll continue to work at being the most educated advisor on real estate topics in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. Now for the national data. Let's talk about 3 of the most important topics in the housing market. We're going to go over home prices and answer the questions, are home prices accelerating? We're going to talk about supply and demand and how that's impacting home prices appreciation right now. And then we're going to go over net worth as we talk about some of the long-term financial benefits of owning a home. This month marks the 2-year anniversary of the worldwide pandemic, which fundamentally changed everything in our lives, including real estate. One of the biggest changes in real estate is home price appreciation. So let's reflect on what happened over the past couple of years. In 2020, CoreLogic said that we had 6% home price appreciation throughout the year. And that's pretty significant. If you think about prior to the pandemic, a more normal year of the home price appreciation was about 3.8%. So 6% is really significant. And you know, we all saw that continue to unfold into 2021 as we saw home price appreciation that was more than double that. You know, and that really significant home price appreciation was largely due to supply and demand. More buyers in the market than we've had homes available. And let's go over this and what it means going forward as we look at the home price forecast as well. So the answer to the questions, are home prices still accelerating, is a yes. And we can look at this graph and see percent year over year price increase by month going all the way back to January 2021. So if we look over on the left-hand side in January 21, we saw 10% home price appreciation. So year over year from January of 2020 to January of 2021, home prices increased by 10%. And then as you can see month over month, it really started to accelerate throughout the year. Now when we hit the summer, you see July, August, and so forth, it started to level out at about 18%. Very significant home price appreciation. But that's when we started having the conversation and we started hearing experts saying our home prices going to decelerate. You know, meaning continue to increase, but at a slower pace. The reality of it is that we saw that kind of 18% hold steady for a while, and then into December and January of this year, 2022, which we can see which is the latest data we have, the green bar is showing that home prices are starting to tick back up. And that's again a direct result of home buyer demand and supply, which is low. So buyers are really competing for homes, and that's causing home prices to tick up. Now, if we look back at this state-by-state basis, it shows changes in prices in the last year from FHFA. And this is really interesting because what we can see is that FHFA shows that the national average is 17.5% home price appreciation last year. Now, some states were higher, some states were lower, but we didn't have depreciation in any state. Home prices were rising throughout the country. Again, a direct result of supply and demand. So if we look at the past 5 years, the national average was 54.5% of home price appreciation. This is what we're starting to see year after year, is increasing home price appreciation. And that really exploded in 2021. Now, where this gets even more interesting is if we look back at the past 30 years. So changes in prices since 1991. If you go all the way back 30 years, national average is 258% home price appreciation. Crazy, that's massive. So if you're wondering, is now a good time to buy? Should I buy a home? Am I buying at the top of the market? Is my home investment gonna be a valuable one? I don't know. If you could go back 30 years and buy a house in 1991, would you do it? I think looking at this data, the answer is pretty clear. But what's the next move going forward? What's gonna happen throughout the rest of this year? We have to look at home price forecasts for 2022. This chart averages out what the experts are saying. We follow 7 key entities who forecast out home prices throughout the rest of the year. And when you average those together in the green bar, you can see they're projecting roughly 6.1% appreciation through the rest of the year. So CoreLogic is on the high end with 9.6, Zelman's on the low end right now with 3%. But the reality of it is, all of the experts are saying that home values are projected to continue increasing throughout the year. So I want to stop and talk about supply and demand because that's what determines, where home prices go. The next graph is a really good foundational element to start that conversation. And this is how the market impacts or inventory impacts home prices. So right now we are squarely in what you would call a seller's market. We've all heard this, we've all felt this. And that's what you can see over there in the blue bar. Essentially, it means more buyers in the market than homes available for sale. They're competing for homes, and that's driving prices up. That's the general law of supply and demand. Anytime there are more buyers for an item than there are people selling that item, prices will rise because people are willing to pay more for them. Now, a neutral market is where that kind of balances out. And a buyer's market is where there are more homes available than buyers interested in purchasing them. So that causes prices to decline. So we are in a seller's market today. And the question people want to know is, what does this mean from a listing perspective? When we look at the number of listings in the market, we've heard that inventory is historically low, but what does that really look like? So I'm going to show you right now new listings, and they're actually falling dramatically right now. This is a look at 2021 month by month. New listings coming to the market in thousands. And what you can see here over on the right-hand side, October, November, December, listings really starting to decline. So not as many listings coming to the market towards the end of the year. Now, this is pretty typical for the housing market because we generally see listings slow down slightly in the winter and then pick back up. And you can see they're definitely following that trend over the past year. So that brought us to this, historically low inventory levels. What I'll show you here is that active listings are also dropping again. And what we have again, October, November, December, active listings falling down towards the end of the year. And that means that homes are selling just as fast as they're coming to the market. So buyers are in high demand. There aren't enough homes on the market. They're not staying on the market long. They're not staying active as listings because they're going into pending and sold very quickly. So the reality is, anytime we start to see inventory low like this and prices start to rise, when people hear that prices are rising so significantly, as prices are so high and they're rising that significantly, they start to wonder about the housing market. And people remember what happened when the housing market crashed. They remember prices skyrocketing and then they worry about the housing bubble. And the data today that I'm showing from Realtor.com, it shows that the percentage of people worried about a housing bubble still exists, a very large percentage. Now, this is the perception of people who say they believe there is a housing bubble where they live. And so among consumers surveyed, 77% feel like there's a housing bubble in their market. That's 3 out of every 4 people basically feel like there's a bubble that's about to burst. Now, if you've been following along with us, that we've shown you data month after month after month after month after month, and we're not headed for a housing bubble. So I'm going to walk you through some slides in a moment that are going to help. This next slide shows inventory of homes today is nothing like the last time. So this is month supply of existing homes for sale in December of each year. Now you can see on the left side the 4 years of the housing crash, and on the right side the past 4 years. So let me break this down for you. The orange bars on the left, 2000 through 2010, show the buyer's market we had at that time. We had an oversupply of homes. So you remember that graph I just shared with you on a seller-neutral buyer's market. These bars show that we were in a buyer's market when the housing market crashed. 9.6 months of inventory in 2007, 9.4 months of inventory in 2008, significantly higher than where we are today. And you can see this on the right side, over in the blue bars, 2018 to 2021. So even in 2018, we had 3.7 months of inventory in the market. There was a significantly higher than where we are today, kind of a record low, if you'll say. And that was low. 3.7 months of inventory was low going into the pandemic. And then look at 2020 and 2021. Simply not enough homes to go around. So when there aren't enough homes on the market, that's what drives prices up. But it is a significantly different market than we had in the housing crash. Now let's look at buyer demand. We hit a record high, a 15-year record of existing home sales in 2021. So this is the number of existing home sales from 2019 to 2020 and 2021. You can see 2019 was 5.4 million sales. We broke that record in 2020 at 5.6 million. And in 2021, just crushed it with 6.1 million homes sold in this country. So what does that say? That says buyers are out there. They're looking for homes, they're purchasing homes, and they're actively in the process. So we have high buyer demand, we have low inventory, significantly different fundamentally than we were when the housing market was and when the bubble burst. And the truth is that people who are purchasing these homes can't afford them this time. And I say that because I want to share this data here that shows credit scores are nothing like the last time either. This is the volume of loans in the billions with credit scores less than 620. So take a look at those orange bars, 2003 to 2007. Significantly more loans issued to buyers who had a credit score less than 620. So 2008 to 2021, you can see that those lending standards have gotten much tighter, meaning that buyers are essentially showing the credentials that they'll be able to afford their home. And that's what's leading to the loan opportunities. So very, very different lending standards are creating a landscape that's nothing like the last time. Credit scores are definitely tighter this time around. And you know, if you're worried also about any other fundamentals of the market, let's think about equity for a second. Homeowners have significantly more equity today, so they're in a much better financial position as homeowners in this process. And if you're worried about a foreclosure crisis, I encourage you to go back and look at the data from my last month's market report on the forbearance and foreclosures update that I gave, because the data simply shows that we're not headed for a foreclosure crisis. We won't see a wave of inventory coming to the market that's going to significantly tip the scales into a buyer's market. There just aren't enough homes going into foreclosure. And we're so grateful for that, because that means that more and more people are staying in their homes. I know that people still have concerns. If you're potentially still renting right now and thinking about buying a home or thinking about it, but watching prices rise, I'm not sure I should buy right now, I'm concerned that there's a bubble, et cetera, et cetera. Let's talk about net worth, which is the real game changer. The data that I'm about to show you really paints a very strong picture for homeowners or potential homeowners when they're thinking about long-term financial benefits of owning a home. There's the stability, the security, and the emotional, American dream homeownership thing that's very important. But as this quote says, with inventory at an all-time low, buyers are still having a difficult time finding a home. So as you know, and as they're feeling like, I'm not sure that I want to stay in this game because it's a tough road right now and prices are rising and I'm having a hard time finding a home, I want to share with those who could be potentially buying right now is the net worth of a homeowner versus a renter. And this is the data from last year, 2021, latest from NAR, National Association of Realtors. It shows that the average net worth of a homeowner today is $300,000. The average net worth of a renter today is $8,000. Think about that for a second. $300,000, $8,000. So if we're talking about building that financial future and really thinking towards that long-term goal of homeownership, and we look at the data, the history that shows how much homes have appreciated over the last 5 to 30 years even, that's a huge differentiator of net worth, especially for those that are renting and they're thinking, I could buy right now, but I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna see if prices fall. I'm gonna see if mortgage rates drop. We know that the opposite is happening right now, and we're not in an environment where that's projected to happen. So buying now and getting that net worth journey started towards homeownership is such a game changer for the future. Check out this slide. It says the net worth of a typical homeowner is about 40 times the net worth of a renter. 40 times. That is huge. So the numbers don't lie. Now I know everyone purchased a home at different times for different reasons. They're financially, emotionally ready at different moments, and that's okay. But I want to share this data so you can make the most powerful and confident decisions, and that's what's important. So I want to end this section with a quote from the National Association of Realtors. It says, "While the booming housing market contributed significantly to the recovery of the U.S. economy, research has consistently shown that homeownership is also associated with multiple economic and social benefits to the individual homeowners." Homeownership has always been an important way to build wealth. And I think this data shows this loud and clear. That 40 times greater net worth, that's a game changer. So when we look at the big picture and we say home prices are rising, they're still accelerating, they're projected to continue rising, and that is a direct reflection of supply and demand. You know, we also know that people have concerns about a housing bubble. But when we look at the data, look at the fundamentals of this market, we're simply not there. And when we think about the concerns that potential buyers may have as they look at all this data, and oh, by the way, don't forget the net worth component that really drives your financial future, 40 times greater for homeowners versus a renter. So I hope these visuals, these quotes, these graphs, everything, I'm helping you today. Hopefully I've helped those who are worried about a housing bubble. The data just simply doesn't support it. I hope you enjoyed this county and national real estate market insight. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Feel free to use the link to get an estimate of value from our website, or just text me an address and I'll shoot over a free market analysis. Thank you for watching, and we'll talk soon.